That's why I do almost everything.
I like that about you.
That's for me. That's why I said, should I post this douchey video? Because that's totally douchey.
Yeah.
Although I sent it to Phil. And I said, look at the pretentious video that I made of myself today. And he replied saying, I really like that video because it shows that even though he expounded on the idea of doing things you don't like, even because they're good for you, and not liking it. And I'm like, okay, like this is totally a goof. I made this as a goof. You know what I was trying to do? I was trying to get AI to put me. This was my original idea. My original idea was me walking in front of the camera, getting ready to go, and then saying, I work out, but I really don't like to. When I actually start working out, this is what I imagine. Oh. And then as it morphs into the AI, I wanted it to be shelves of donuts and pizza everywhere, but it wouldn't do it. Like, I tried for like 45 minutes.
So the app is not just I didn't realize it was AI. I thought it was.
It's a mini Mid-Journey built into my video app.
Wow. Okay. That's
so
cool.
You can put in prompts. And
but it follows your video still.
Yeah.
The prompts do.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't do a great job. It does good when you're mostly stationary, then it does great. So if I just do a selfie, I'm gonna do one for our show where I just do a little selfie saying, hey, or we can do one of me and you, but just selfie.
Yeah.
Talking, and it does good there.
Okay. I can't wait to see that.
But when there's lots of movement with people, it's a little clunky. But yeah, it's good enough. It's pretty cool. I was going to buy this other app, and right as I was gonna buy it, I got an email from Lightleap, which is the app that I use, and it said, "Hey, have you tried our AI features?" I'm like, "Good enough. I'm not gonna buy any more."
Isn't it amazing that you're like, oh, it's good enough? You're doing it on your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got full animation happening.
I'm stroking it with my left hand. And then I'm writing in my prompts with my right hand.
So nothing has changed.
No, I've watched maybe 5 minutes of porn since we started.
Right
our
now?
challenge.
Have we already started?
No, well.
Yeah, me too. Because after a week of not whacking it, it only took 5 minutes to make me explode all over.
Is that what you
office.
did?
Oh yeah.
Nope. So you've manipulated yourself to completion since our conversation.
Yes.
I still have it.
Wow. No interest.
Nope. Well, no, plenty.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't. And stupid Instagram. The only time that I've gone to Pornhub is to look for chicks that are on Instagram.
So the chicks you're looking at on Instagram are already porn actresses.
Some of them. Some of them have videos on Pornhub.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. So first I go to Twitter because all roads lead to OnlyFans, right?
It's a cliche for a reason.
That's where they want you to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have a Twitter, then all you really want to see are these chicks' hooters and her, fingering herself. Like, that's all I need.
And that's on Twitter?
A lot of them, yeah.
I'm not on Twitter, so I didn't realize that.
They'll post graphic stuff on Twitter, but then I'm assuming that their strategy is to just entice you to go to their OnlyFans.
Right.
So
Watch the whole video.
Watch this. Like, I don't need the whole video,
right.
honey.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Come on, baby doll. I need 30 seconds. But right. So if I can, if what is on Twitter is good enough, then that's good enough. And I won't go anywhere else.
Are we going to get this started or not?
Let's get this started.
All right.
Although I am going to use some of this in something. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Man, I am on a roll. This is week 4 of a show a week back again. I need to make a call for more guests.
If only you'd actually release the show so everyone could see this.
You know, Cody called me out a month ago because I didn't release her show for a month. And then now so Kelly, we're talking right now, but when you hear this, you will probably be a month in the future.
Holy cow, we're time traveling.
Can you imagine what'll happen in that month?
Let's see. So
we should set ourselves some goals.
Okay.
And say, by the time this show releases, I want to be XYZ.
Okay. Dead or in jail?
STD free.
I mean, I feel like that one's pretty easy to accomplish. You're married.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Check us out on YouTube. I'm always doing something new with the YouTube. Different colors, different crops. I should probably just find something and stick with it.
I like that you experiment.
Just experiment, right? That's pretty much. But now that you gifted me, I love this thing.
Look at that beautiful swag light.
It looks so perfect. I was trying to take your suggestion and put it in a corner so that the shadows make a design.
Right.
It's just too bright in here for it to show up.
I've seen this on video, and it looks so cool hanging here. It's almost like you've got a little a dark little den here for people to meet and talk and plan evil deeds.
Yes, evil. My brain right away went to, I was looking through Craigslist for video gigs, and there was an ad for someone looking for a videographer for adult content. I'm thinking about replying.
Yeah, well, you're a videographer.
My email is going to be, I am interested in the position of adult content videographer. Is a splash guard provided, or should I bring my own?
I think the first thing, obviously, is what's the rate, right? What's the pay?
Well, yeah. So they wanted you to send in your rate.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
this is already starting to sound kind of shady.
I mean, it could be a negotiation. It could be like, what are the perks? Do you get an assigned fluffer?
Right.
Then, I mean, well, what's...
Ass, gas, or grass.
That's right. That's right. And follow us on YouTube so you can see our lovely faces and all of the interesting things that I have on my table. I should probably do like a show and tell of what's on my desk.
You really
what's
should.
On our table.
Yeah, you really should.
You don't think so?
Starting with the table itself.
Yeah.
And then
I painted the table.
Yeah.
I have these cool record coasters.
I love these.
They're awesome.
I love that they came with a little record player holder.
Yeah. I have these cool glasses that are interactive.
Oh.
They spin.
That's interesting.
I have nudie candles.
Okay.
I find this so fascinating that someone made this. They made a mold and they made it.
I don't like the way you're touching it. Oh, no.
And then again, you contributed to my setup with my 1970s, 60s Avon Duesenberg.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is probably from the 70s, I'm guessing.
70s?
This was from my buddy's house that I was helping him clean out. I took this and his Volkswagen Bug, both of them still filled with the...
It smells great.
I'm not sure great is the word you're looking for.
You know what? I'm here. Let me put some of that on right now.
Please do.
Hope this isn't corrosive. Do you think it's gonna burn my skin?
Well, I mean, I wish you'd done that before we went to the store.
Oh, look at this. Man, we should go to the club.
Okay, I'm jealous. I want some of that myself. Just
Here you
pass
go.
me some of that Duesenberg.
We just put on 45-year-old cologne.
It smells a little dusty.
This is my childhood, man.
It smells like green shag rugs.
Everyone who is over 40 years old, you have to know what this stuff is. And you had a good childhood. Because if you had a good childhood, that meant that your mom had a friend who sold Avon.
Right.
And she supported her friend, which means then that you had to have had
Right.
you had to have had a good childhood. Because my mom had a friend who sold Avon, and my dad had this. So when you showed me this, it transported me to me being like 12 years old. And even when I was 12, this was already 15 years old.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then seeing this in our bathroom.
You lit up because this came with the box and everything. I mean,
I love it. The box is right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to keep I love keeping boxes. I will forever keep that box.
I'm so happy this went to somebody who could
Yeah.
truly appreciate it.
And then it's so, well, not to get too emotional here, but it was my dad's birthday a couple weeks ago,
Right.
a few weeks ago. So like that means even more that I got it around that time.
That makes me feel good.
So I love it. I super, super love it. So as you can see, my boy KL is back.
Hello, hello.
Kelly is a screenwriter, writer, podcaster, my best friend.
Oh, am I?
Of course.
I've met your other friends. I would say I am the best of all.
You
of them.
are the best. I have to, yeah. Well, yes. I'm trying to figure out a way to work Danny in there. But he doesn't listen to my show anyway, so
Okay.
screw Danny. So we're back. Man, Kelly, there are like so many things we can talk about. I think let's just, since you're a screenwriter, you have experience, your insights are more educated and thought out than probably what my ideas or understandings are of this whole strike that's going on with the writers and actors.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what's going on. Like right now, well, what exactly is happening?
Well, a month from when we're talking about this, who knows? But for 3 or 4 months now, the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, have been striking to try and figure out a way for them to get paid for work that continues to be sold and resold without them getting residuals and stuff like that. And I support all of that stuff wholeheartedly. They're also trying to somehow stop the use of AI by the production companies in the writing. And I think that's a lovely fiction, but I don't see how they will possibly be able to stop that.
You're trying to block a major piece of technology that is
A major piece of technology that was given to everybody for free, basically.
pretty much,
So-
including them.
Yeah. So, having the first studio that says, we will not use AI, their shareholders are going to be like, well, wait a second, because their shareholders don't know what the hell's going on.
All they know is that this is a cost-cutting tool.
Right. And so if one company decides not to use it, but the other companies continue to use it, you're going to see that one company lose money.
Right. Yeah. Well, would it be a direct? Would you be able to point to? Well, I guess you could, because it would be to the writing budget, right?
I think that, excuse me, this is obviously a very convoluted story that's going on here. I don't see a way out of it. And by the way, I'm not in the WGA. Even with the things that I sold, I was never able to make enough money to actually be in the WGA. But The problem with trying to tell somebody that they can't use something that exists, how is a studio to know that what they're buying from a writer was written without the use of AI?
Yeah. And even if you look at 10 layers below that, given that AI doesn't actually make anything unique, it just compiles.
Right.
How do you factor that in too?
Well, that is part of their issue, is that they're saying that some of these people have been able to kind of trace when they're asking for AI to do something, that they'll be able to see their own writing in what is.
Who said the writers say this, or
some people have claimed that articles that were written by AI, they could see their own writing in the article.
If the person who wrote the prompt said, "Please write an article in the style of whoever," then I guess. But let me ask you this: if you work for Google or Microsoft, and you come up with something, that idea doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the company who employs you. This has been an age-old thing in tech. If you come up with Steve Jobs, Wozniak, like they came up with stuff, but were under HP. We're working for, I believe it was HP, and they couldn't use it. This has happened a ton. How is it that writers own or can take ownership of their writing when they work for someone? I'd see that's what I don't understand.
And this has been a battle that's been in the courts forever, all the way back to Joe Simon and Jerry Schuster, who created Superman. And, they just wanted to get a little bit of the money that suddenly happened when Superman became huge and film rights and all of that stuff were sold. They ended up winning those cases. So there's precedent set.
Got it. That's whack.
I don't know. Marvel has fought a lot of their creators on this kind of thing because they claim this is work for hire. I get that it's work for hire. I also get a creator looking at something and going, well, now you've sold the film rights for this character I created for you. It does seem to me like their contracts need to be reevaluated and rewritten to include those kind of things in them going forward.
Right.
But nobody knows how that stuff's going to ever pan out anyway.
So current writer contracts don't factor in putting things on streaming, using AI.
Right.
And of course, human nature is, it's like, I want to be compensated for every single time what I write gets used. But, and because Hollywood has not been firm,
right,
they're screwed. Basically, the companies are screwed now, and the writers think they're being screwed.
Correct. And the thing is, everybody gets screwed. It doesn't matter if you love Disney or not. They are a gigantic corporation. Their bottom line is they want to make as much money as possible. They want to pay out as little money as possible. They want to give their investors and shareholders.
Man, someone could probably argue that they don't care about that as much within the last 5 years or so.
They don't care about their shareholders, or they don't care about their
They don't
creators?
care about how much money they make. I mean, if we want to get down into the weeds of it, everything they've done has sucked for a while now.
Yeah.
And then now we're not going off topic here with this Snow White that's coming out next year. What's her name? Rachel Zegler. Is that her name?
I don't know.
So I think her name was Rachel. Zegler for sure is her last name. What a chick this is.
I don't know anything about it.
Man, I don't see how Disney has kept her off of multiple interviews she's done, where she's badmouthed pretty much everything about Disney, to where Disney's bread and butter of Snow White and other animations that were done, back 70 years ago, to her compensation. Like, she did this one interview where she said, I was in the Snow White dress for 12 hours a day. I deserve to be paid for every single hour Snow White will be streamed. So you can sort of factor that into how the creatives think they should be compensated.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I wrote on this show, I should be getting paid anywhere that this show is being offered to paying customers. And I think that's where they lose a lot of normal people like me, because I've made like I don't get paid for work that I did 5 years ago.
Right.
And even as my little tiny media company that I have, websites that draw customers to a restaurant or to a gym or to an artist because I've done a couple artist websites. Actually, I love them both. I do really good. But I get paid for it once. I don't get paid for it again. Headshots that I've taken. It's so funny. I rarely go on LinkedIn, but when I do go on LinkedIn, I see headshots that people use that I took 10 years ago. And these, like, a couple of them are like CEOs of companies. And it's like, if you decide to use your headshot on ladders, when this came out, it was only LinkedIn, I should get more compensation because you're now using it on like that's stupid. So do you, based off of your experience and what you know, well, I guess you kind of answered it. It's like, that seems like mega entitlement to believe that you should be compensated for work that you did even your last job.
Right. I would say this. What if in the past, when you were doing those pictures, everybody who did stuff like that was compensated every time it went from a different company to a different company, and then suddenly something new came along and you found yourself going, well, wait a second, it used to be like this. This is what we're running into, is that there was a way set up for writers to get royalties. And so writers and actors, I'm not sure if it's the same for actors, but you write a television show, you get paid for that television show. The first time it reruns, you get half of what you were paid. And then the next time you get half of that again, until you're getting checks for, a penny 20 years down the road. Oh. And that has been built into the mindset of becoming a film or television writer. You're not going to get paid a lot of money because there's so many years you're not going to get work. So that has been built in. So when you start taking those kind of things away, which is, streaming was never built into those contracts because it's relatively new. So what they're fighting for now is just some kind of way to, going forward, they need to figure out a way, if these things are getting sold over and over again and the corporations are making a lot of money off of it, they'd like to see that trickle down to the creatives. I'm on their side. I don't see it happening.
Oh, no. No, because, well, okay, I'll back up just a little bit. Based off of what you just said, I saw a video recently where it was an actor, character actor, right? He was in his home making this video, and his home didn't seem lavish. He seemed like a regular house. And he was showing the camera the royalty checks he was getting.
Right.
And one of them was for the show House, which hasn't been on forever.
Right.
And this particular royalty check, And from what I noticed, because he was showing the stub, and for shows that he was on multiple episodes, it was a long stub because I'm assuming it listed the episodes he was
Everything's
in.
itemized.
Yeah, everything's itemized. This particular show, there wasn't that many. I would say there was probably about 10, well, I don't know, like this much worth of line items. And then he was trying to make a point that this is my royalty check for the show House. And it was like $125. But if I'm understanding you correctly, House has been off the air for a long time. And it's already been on multiple other channels. So yes, he's getting $125 royalty check today in 2023.
Right.
But 5 years ago, that check could have been a whole lot more because it wasn't on as many things.
Right.
Okay. See, that based off of that puts that whole thing in a whole new, I mean, I don't want to say that this dude was ingenuous, but he just didn't explain that I'm getting 125 now, but 10 years ago, this was a $3,000 check.
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's it's like, boo, 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 boo. Here. Let me call you an ambulance.
Sure. I will say this. I don't think that artists are paid what they're worth. You know, even I've got a publishing company, and we didn't pay the artists what they were worth. We were very, small peanuts. And these
what
artists.
Does that mean even?
Well, these artists were just like, I would tell them, boy, I'd really love to use this, but I can't really afford to pay you this. This is what we pay our people here.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's fine. I just want my art to be seen. And so there's a part of me that understands, these guys should be paid more. I mean, we sit on our ass because we sit on our ass and we consume that art constantly. And there's a part of me, the artist part of me, that's, not cool with these corporations making a gazillion dollars and these CEOs making all of this money and the people who created art, which is what we're watching, not getting compensated for it. And it's just I don't know what the answer is, but there is a part of me that's like, yeah, that's not right. These people, the artist, we should be putting them up on pedestals. On the other hand, I also understand.
More so?
Well, tell me how many writers you know.
One. And I love him. I love him very much. I meant,
how many TV writers do you know their names?
I know the dude who did The West Wing.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name is...
I'm just trying to figure out what pedestal he's on.
Marmot, Mamo, Mame.
My point is this. I think that, as a culture, we should probably be paying a little more attention to these people. But I also understand that the companies are the ones who put up all of the money and the risk.
Right.
And
that's
so
where I was going to go.
They should get their money first. I don't know. What writers are asking for right now on this strike is they're saying, look, technology has changed, and every time technology has changed, we have changed our contract to figure it out. So they're doing that right now. The fact that the studios aren't budging on the AI thing, that should tell all of my writer friends, and I have a bunch who are striking out there right now.
Oh, where? In LA.
Down in LA. Yeah. And that should tell you guys they know something you don't. And the thing they know is that this is not going anywhere. The AI is not going away.
No, it won't. I mean, even if it just won't. And if you think that it can be blocked or curtailed or limited or obstructed or filtered, it won't. It will not be. Even
Elon Musk saying, let's put a pause on this. He only wanted to put a pause on it so he could catch up with everybody else.
Right. Right. It's just, I find it super interesting that normal people really don't care about this strike.
No.
And I think that's okay. James Vanderbeek made this super douchey plea.
I saw it.
I mean, first,
talk about tone deaf. The reason I'm not out on the strike out there right now is because I'm vacationing with my family. You might have wanted to edit that out.
there's been a couple actors that have made similar videos where it's like I would be there if I could. I mean, Danny Trejo did a really good one where he goes, the Tom Cruise and the Brad Pitts and the Ben Afflecks, like, they don't have to be here. And it's like, but that's okay. If I were like them, I wouldn't be here either. It's like, I get it. Here's where I think the main disconnect is that Hollywood has been so preachy, so eager to jump on every possible cause. You have these douchebag actors like George Clooney, like Ben Affleck, like Matt Damon, who will put their 2 cents into every single political issue and then speak on it as if they were the authority. I mean, the appearance of Ben Affleck on Bill Maher a few years ago, talking about Islam with Sam Harris. Like, that's one of the peak examples of how you're talking way out of turn, way out of place. You have these people who that is the face of Hollywood. And then, unfortunately, you have the writers who aren't the face of Hollywood, but that your mainstream American family is going to lump them in and have zero sympathy and say they're all the same. And it's like, I understand that. And I was talking with a buddy the other day, and it's like, Hollywood is one of the most hypocritical industries, where, again, you have all of these actors who get on their soapboxes when they have their writers who write their lines picketing out there. Why don't they say, hey, let's chip in and then pay from our salary so that people who write for my movie or my show get paid more money? It's like, they're never going to do that. The only decent person in Hollywood who's ever done that is Jay Leno.
Well, you're describing, why don't we make a union and we pay dues so that we get paid fairly and all of that, which is where we're at with all of this stuff. What really they should be doing, some of these big writers, Sorkin, Mamet.
Mamet, I was close. Mamet, I pronounced it the French way.
Affleck and Damon, they won Oscars for screenwriting. They're WGA guys, and they're, millionaires, maybe billionaires at this point.
I mean, they're a couple $100 million for sure.
Those kind of people could get together, put a film collective together, and they could start making their own movies. And the studios would have to sit back and go, oh, wait a second. Because once they do that, then the studios become obsolete. And the studios would then go, wait a second, we'll give you whatever we want because we don't want to become obsolete. Until you make the studios hurt, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah. But you know why they're not going to do that? Because they don't have any balls to do that.
Well, and they don't have to do that. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon can sit out 6 or 8 months without getting a paycheck.
None of them have to do it. They would rather just preach and do virtue signaling versus putting their own actual resources on the line, which is what makes Elon even more of an amazing person, because he put his own financial security on the line for his ideas and things that he believed in. I mean, the whole point here is that when these actors, like, there was this big, I don't even know if it was big, but there was this rally in New York where Ron Perlman and a few other actors, Kerry Washington, like, they were all, it was like a civil rights rally that they were trying to copy the energy of a civil rights gathering to talk about how we deserve XYZ. It's like, get out of here. It's like, unfortunately, the Hollywood just pigeoned itself into this position where no one is really going to care No one, I mean, other than someone who is 1 degree or one friend away from someone who is a working actor or a working writer. Other than that, it's like you're death. Like everything just comes out as tone deaf and out of touch. But that's their own doing. Like they made it this way because all of these prick douchebag actors.
Sounds like the Hollywood police force coming to pick us up right here. I agree. I am 1 degree. I have friends literally on the picket line. The real problem is this. You keep seeing these writers say AI is not ready. You know, you're not going to get AI that can write a human story. I agree with that, but the stories we're getting right now are shit.
Yeah, they're stupid.
The stories we're getting right now could absolutely have been written by AI. Every single superhero movie is the exact same superhero movie with a different hero.
It's so funny. I saw this. I'm sorry for interrupting. I saw someone make fun of Blue Beetle, and then saying, "Oh, this," and then they were just making direct comparisons to Ant-Man. It's like you're literally just replacing an ant with the Blue Beetle. It is exactly the same movie. I was talking about this the other day. The last good movie, the only good movie that I love that I've seen in the last 5 years is probably Maverick.
Oh, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Not Maverick with Mel Gibson.
Jodie Foster.
Also a great movie.
I haven't seen that one.
What?
I love me some Jodie Foster.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah. So I'm in a total agreement. Stuff that they do is so. I've completely lost interest in Marvel. I was going through the Marvel selection today, and there's like 5 movies that I have not seen.
Yeah.
And no interest. I lost interest in the Star Wars. Someone asked the other day, would you want to see another Star Wars? And it's like, yeah, only if Catherine Kennedy meets her untimely demise and has zero input in making any of this, because she's completely destroyed Star Wars. It's like,
well,
what's good?
I don't agree with that, but I don't think that.
Okay. A vegetable.
I guess the real problem is we did this to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have dumbed down our scripts and our films, and by doing so have dumbed down our audience. And you're not going to get a really receptive audience for a strike because they're too stupid to know better.
Who is?
The audience. They don't give a fuck.
Well, no. But that's not because they're stupid.
The movies are stupid, and the people who like them are stupid.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Look, and I have liked a lot of them, but I am stupid. I am estupido, as they say in Blue Beetle. Well, and by the way, Blue Beetle, why do you hate Mexicans so much?
Right? I was racist.
I was going to call you out on that.
Yeah, but I have zero interest in seeing Blue Beetle. I'm not a big George Lopez fan.
Wait a second, is George Lopez in that?
Yeah.
I'm interested all of a sudden.
Are you? Yeah. He's in it.
They were really scraping the bottom of the barrel for Mexican actors, I guess.
I would have rather seen a Danny Trejo in there.
Sure. Yeah, it's a weird situation, and because I do have friends in the situation, I would like to see them achieve their goals.
Here, you didn't get a whole lot of this, but we'll open another one.
No, it's fine. I just don't understand. I don't see the corporations budging on, how do you put a genie back in the bottle? You just promise, well, okay, we're not going to use AI, even though it's being developed by every single corporation around us. And if you are a corporation that doesn't have an AI plan right now, your shareholders are going to be very upset.
Yeah.
So I don't see any way around that, and that's something that they want the studios to change. I don't see that happening.
I mean, if you can't get, well, obviously McDonald's is not unionized, but if no one cares that McDonald's are starting to be automated, surely no one is going to care that.
I mean, this really is just something that we should be looking bigger picture at, is that
they should be using it to their advantage versus
the fact that we're automating all of these jobs is going to be a real problem in 20 years when we've just, the homeless situation is insane right now, when it's 50% homeless because there are no jobs for people who don't have a high school diploma,
who don't have a diploma.
Yeah, I mean, look, the
are you talking about these writers?
No, I'm talking about McDonald's workers, cashiers, all of this stuff. People who work these small jobs, and they're either older people who've aged out of their workforce, or they're younger people coming into a workforce. Once all those jobs are taken away, which is what is happening, then we're going to be in some real trouble.
Other show. This is a whole other show.
That's why I was saying, let's look bigger picture at this. It is happening.
Well, it's been happening for a while, but unfortunately, the gas to this fire is that society has been telling 40-year-olds that if you work at McDonald's, you deserve to earn a living wage, and that is fundamentally false. It's like, no, if you're 40 years old and you work if you are not in management or in some some hourly position at a McDonald's, then no, that does not grant you the right to earn. And even, you can even debate on what a living wage is, but surely not someone who could afford to support themselves. And that's super controversial, what I'm saying. That's the only time that I've deleted anything on or did I delete it? I think I deleted it on Facebook. There was some company that was doing an ad for an arm that
I remember
that flipped the fries.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, if you're worried about this thing taking your job, you've made a couple wrong decisions in your life. Whew.
You caught a lot of shit for that.
Oh yeah. And then you know what? I learned I'm never going to delete anything ever again.
Carlos, it's worse than that, which is one of my favorite phrases, because the people who are joining the McDonald's workforce at 15 or 16 are expecting to make a living wage at it.
Yeah.
It's not 40-year-olds. It's kids who are like, I need to pay off my BMW. And that was never the American dream.
Yeah. Well, the idea that when you're a kid and you have these jobs as a starter job to get you, your gap year before you go to college, that idea is gone. And then now you do have those jobs, and even if you do have a gap year and you go to college, when you're out of college, you're $100,000 in debt. So even if you do get a job where you get, I read an article the other day that said that if you're in somewhat of a professional industry, it's expected, the employee, the new hire, is expecting at least 80 a year. And that, man, I get greedy when I hear those.
You know what, though? Midwest, 80 a year probably sounds fantastic.
Oh,
so
heck yeah. You can get a 5-bedroom, 3,500 foot house for 400.
Right.
Out there. So 80 is perfect.
Right.
Yeah. It's I think it's a combination of all of those societal issues where you can, the umbrella term is entitlement, and every industry has their own entitlement. And we're in this position now where if there's a social media movement on something, it gets traction. And I do find it a little bit funny that how many months are we in on this? So by the time we listen to this,
we'll be 4 months in.
Yeah, it's like it really hasn't gotten.
Well, they did this interesting thing where they released to the public an offer, and the WGA turned it down. But the reason that they released that to the public was so that the people who are striking could see the offer, and it had a lot of what they wanted in it. And that's a dirty tactic to make the people in the union start, pressuring their union bosses to accept this offer.
Have you and I had a conversation about unions?
I don't think so.
That I loathe unions?
I think unions are a really good idea for firemen and police officers.
Well, but all of those are under one union.
Well, that's my point. When you've got safety issues on a job,
worst. Actually, I'm gonna just start right off the back and say negative. That government workers should not be unionized. What is that? The SEIU.
You want to keep people safe at their job. And that's what unions were supposed to do.
Unions were a good job at the start of the Industrial Revolution, or midway through, when you were putting kids in coal mines, and you had, but thankfully we had an anti-Semite come along named Henry Ford.
Oh, God.
Henry Ford created the 40-hour work week, where you work 8 hours, 5 days a week, got the weekend off. That is because of him, and he built Ford on that. And you're absolutely right. Before then, it was 15 hours a day, every day. And then he was smart enough to know that you don't really get more production by working these people that long and for that many days. And he did the calculations and says we can get peak performance from our employees for this amount of time and this amount of days per week. So, unions had their place. But now, like, if I were go to work for a company right now and they were unionized, no, there's no way. No way that I would go work for them. And that's like a super other deep conversation, because I don't want to be lumped in with a bunch of other people, and my fate is on the same boat as their fate, and my work is going to be compared and put in the same box as them. Like, if I'm going to go work for someone, I want the ability to shine and to impress and then to be rewarded. And unions don't let you do that.
The problem is that in this case, we're talking about corporations that would gladly take advantage of smaller people, except that there is unions stopping them from doing that. And that's a good thing. But the unions, fall apart. They have many, many bad things about them as well. As in all of this stuff, I don't know what the answer is, but what's happening right now is not working clearly.
I guess. Moving along, what's the effect right now that we're seeing of a 4-month strike?
So it's so interesting. I don't actually have regular television. All I have are streaming services. And so what you're going to start seeing if you are a watcher of NBC, CBS, and ABC is that shows that should be coming back for their next season are not going to be coming back for the next season.
Yeah.
The writers are on strike. The actors are on strike. If the Directors Guild goes on strike with them, then that would effectively shut everything down. So, and that's probably what they're hoping will happen, and probably what would need to happen for the production companies to actually say, okay, we'll figure this out.
So directors, writers, and actors each have their own guild.
Everybody has their own guild. The editors have a guild. Every time you see one of those not an acronym, but
Initials.
initials after
Like the
the
PGA.
DGA. That's the Producers Guild, the PGA, the Directors Guild, the WGA, SAG is the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. And so everybody has kind of figured out that they've got to unionize if they want to continue getting raises and getting paid this way. So that's what you'll see on those. The streaming services, which is where the bulk of the problem is, because writers are trying to figure out how to get paid for sales that are happening to a brand new technology, brand new for the last 10 years. And that's what's probably ruffling the feathers is, holy cow, these things just get bopped from one streaming service to another and nobody else is getting paid like they would have been if it were reruns. So with with all of that stuff going on, then the effects that we'll see there is that you'll see Netflix now, instead of pushing new shows, they're going to be pushing shows that they made in 2019 that you never saw.
Right.
They're going to be pushing their shows that
they voted.
No, that they had on their streaming service, but just weren't watched because there was so much to watch. They've got such a backlog of stuff that
What's that stupid show that the Wachowskis made on Netflix?
Sense8 or something like that. Yeah,
so
we'll see.
Start pushing that nonsense.
Yeah,
again?
we'll see all of this stuff come popping up because the streaming services, especially Netflix, have so much content that just kind of went under the radar just because there was just too much noise.
So, dumb question. So Netflix just buys, right? So they when we say that this is a Netflix exclusive, it really just means that they bought this. Someone else made it. They bought it. I'm going to distribute it. Because they're like a distributor seller at the same time.
That was true a couple years ago, but since Stranger Things, that's not true. So Netflix is creating and making their own shows, financing them. In fact, I think I had heard that Netflix were buying theaters so that they could have theatrical releases of some of their Netflix-created movies to make them eligible for Oscars.
Oh. So if it's a Netflix exclusive, so Stranger Things, right?
Right.
Netflix exclusive. The writers who wrote that, are they in the Writers Guild?
Yes.
In the regular Hollywood Writers Guild?
Yes.
So it kind of seems like Netflix needs the writers who write for Netflix need their own.
Well,
you're right.
That's just it.
But then they're importing from Hollywood, so that still affects the Hollywood.
Yeah,
writers.
and also the Duffer Brothers who created Stranger Things. They're part of the Writers Guild, so they have to be on strike. But they're probably not out there on the picket lines because I'm sure they made a real sweetheart deal.
Well, yeah, because they depend on Netflix, so they don't really need. They don't need Hollywood.
Yeah,
their bread and butter is Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is corporations are bad and will always be bad, but what else are you going to do? I mean, you need these big companies to put up these big, huge budgets. So what are you going to do? Unless Tom Cruise steps up to the plate and says, hey, fuck it. I don't like what's going on, and I'm going to finance this out of my own paycheck, and then watch the studios suddenly fall into line.
So doesn't he produce his own stuff?
He might
Isn't he part
produce
of
it.
Skydance?
Yeah, he might produce it. He's got a production company, but we're talking about the studios. If we were to get let's say Tom Cruise, George Clooney, that doesn't work actually. Let's say Tom Cruise. You get a writer, Quentin Tarantino, and then you get Francis Ford Coppola, and they decide to make their own company. Now you've got these three powerhouse creators, writer, actor, and director, and then they can start paying things, all of their editors and actors and all of this stuff. comes out of their pocket. Watch the studios fall into line with what the writers want, because they're going to start seeing writers get what they want and make what they want.
But aren't they just going to go and raise capital to fund this? They're not actually going to fund it themselves.
My point would be they'd have to do something like that to make the studios take notice. The studios are always going to be, geez, what's Disney putting out with all of their Disney Plus, Star Wars, Marvel shows, and their movies and everything? We're talking about how many billions and billions of dollars do they spend every year on product?
Yeah, that would be refreshing, actually, because that means that you wouldn't have a $300 million budget for a movie. It would probably be a whole lot less. Let's say a meager $50 million budget for a movie. So then you're not using special effects as a crutch, and you're not using an existing franchise as a crutch. Like that would be a good thing. Something brand new.
This is something that also needs to be addressed, is when the budgets for these movies are $400 million, and that means they have to make $800 million to break even, because you just double it for marketing, and you realize this movie has to make $1 billion for anybody to actually start making movie. That's way too much pressure on these actors and writers and everything to come up with something, and when it doesn't, then you start seeing this collapse. Is what we're seeing of this kind of stuff.
Yes, pressure on the people, but then also, someone's writing those checks.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And then something like
people are going to listen. People are going to listen and say, Carlos is just, because I've seen a whole bunch of these arguments already. It's like, Carlos is just defending the billionaires. It's like, I'm not defending the billionaires. I'm saying that it's probably not the easiest thing to write a $500 million check. There's only a few people. There's only a small group of corporate, entities that are capable of writing a $500 million check so that you can go see a movie about a Mexican blue beetle.
Well, you said something about Kathleen Kennedy ruining the things. I'll defend Kathleen Kennedy. That was a bunch of people who ruined those Star Wars movies. It wasn't Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
It was, everybody that she was counting on to come up with stories, all the way down to, Ryan Johnson or whoever.
To her.
I'll just say I thought Last Jedi was the best of the new trilogy, just because it tried something different.
It's like, I don't even remember.
The point is this, there are people behind all of these decisions and stuff like that. And
there's a room of people.
But behind that room of people are shareholders, and there is this need to make sure everybody stays and makes a little bit of money. If they make a lot of money, that's great, but they got to make a little bit of money minimum.
Yeah.
They can't lose money.
Yeah.
So that's where these people are.
And man, Disney, it's lost like $2 billion in the last 8-10 months is what I read.
Yeah, that's okay, but no.
Yeah, I know. Well, no.
That's super creative bookkeeping, first of all. But
I think
also,
they're factoring in subscriptions to Disney Plus, and
yeah.
If my Disney Plus wasn't bundled in with my Hulu and my ESPN, I would have canceled it. You're lucky. They're lucky. I'm paying $12.
They're very lucky you're doing that. I'm saying that the various toys for all of their movies and everything are more than making up for the money they've spent on these movies.
Oh, so that's not included into their...
No.
They're just talking about how much it costs to make stuff versus how much is coming in from that stuff.
I guarantee you, when they have meetings with those shareholders, they go, okay, so yes, the theatrical division has lost a ton of money. It doesn't matter because Disney World is still raking in the dollars.
Yeah, but they've closed a few of them.
Okay, but all of our marketing and merchandising is still raking in the money, and all of this stuff means that you guys will still get your bonus check at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's true. You got a bunch of adult weirdos that go to the Disney properties multiple times a year.
I haven't been to Disney in a long time, but I'd like to go back.
I've only been one time, and that's only because when I went, a friend of mine, her son worked IT, and she gave me their family passes. So I went in for free.
How old were you?
I was 30 something.
That's the perfect age to go in.
You know what? I'm okay. The best part was the Tower of Terror, because we went to Orlando.
Okay.
The Tower of Terror was awesome. That was like the best ride I've ever been on. But other than that, the food sucked.
Wow.
Walked around a lot, waited around a lot.
Carlos defends billionaires but hates
Man,
Disney.
I want to be a billionaire. If I were a billionaire, I would be up in 100. My office would be on the 100th story, dark, dusty. I would have this huge book and I would be writing down stuff with like a fountain pen.
Oh, of course.
And then my assistant would come in shaking because he didn't want to ask me any questions. And I would say, "What are you doing?" And then I would throw my ink.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
I would throw my ink bottle at him and say, "I don't want to be disturbed."
What news would he be bringing you? Do you think?
That profits were up 30%.
Dare you? Only 30%. A measly 30%.
Fire 10% of our workforce. That's why God doesn't make me a billionaire.
Can we stop talking about the strike? It's depressing.
We can stop talking and then go up and grill and then eat some steaks.
Oh, let's do that.
We have another. Kelly, I have not had a drink of booze in since the last time I was with you, which is probably 2 weeks now.
I thought you were going to say, I have not had a drunk of your quality at this table in many weeks. But yes, you have not had a drunk of booze since last time we hung out.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to bore the audience with my fitness routine.
Right. I love that I'm your cheat day.
You are my cheat day. Lori's going to get pissed because she doesn't get a cheat day from me.
Oh, sorry, Lori.
She's okay. She'll be all right. It's like she has a glass or two every day.
Yeah.
When she comes home. She's had a tough couple weeks at work. So she comes home and I open a bottle, and then when I see her coming through the door, I'm pouring it and I say, "My love, here." But I have zero interest in pouring one for myself.
That's so funny. She drives up. You're like, "My love, this." I drove up today, and all I could hear from the house was "stranger danger, stranger danger."
Well, I wasn't sure what we were going to start with. It should have been. I should have known, right? All right, next time we'll do it. All right, buddy.
Hey, can I plug a few things?
Of course, plug away.
I have this chapbook here, Infernal Combustion. Very few of them left on my website, written by KLYoung.com, which I paid this wonderful person to create. And if you guys want a beautiful website, you should do that for yourself as well. I also have, another chapbook coming out very shortly. And my own podcast, which is strangeeonsradio.com, which I do with Eric Margaret and Vanessa Williams every Thursday.
I don't listen to it on Thursdays. I listen to it on Friday nights. It's my routine now.
Just to get you to sleep.
Yes. Yes, that is true. But I think that's a compliment.
No, I'm taking it that way.
I think that's a compliment. And we've talked about this before, where I really want more of the organic interaction with you guys.
Yeah, we're trying some new stuff coming up here. So let's see, a month from now we'll be heavy into, we'll be just starting October Country, which is going to happen all October. And we're talking Ray Bradbury films. And then we've got...
Who's Ray Bradbury? Oh. Star Wars? Star Trek? No, that's Gene Roddenberry.
Wow. Sorry, Jennifer. And then Video Nasty November is coming up as well. So
Not Ninja November?
Not Ninja November this.
Whack.
It's going to be harder for me to come up with N-words.
Wait, hold on. I think if we put our brains together, we can think of one or two.
that's what I'm doing.
No, I love you guys. I love the show. I listen to every single one of them. I share it to the audience. Although you can tell Eric next time you see him that I'm pissed that he took my game away. I had a game where I guessed who did what.
Right.
And he took it away.
What a dick.
That's super whack.
Yeah.
And then one day he's like, how come you don't guess anymore? I'm like, prick, you tell me who's just what.
With his, he does the snippets where we're talking about our films. Yeah.
Like super whack.
Listen, I hate him too. I can't wait to replace him.
Super whack. Super, super, super whack. Well, anyways, yep. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
Don't forget to subscribe, watch Rancho Bravo. They're good. Those margaritas are fantastic. They've added a few new things to the menu. They've updated their torta sandwich, which is now has a fancy French bread and some tasty, crunchy vegetables on it. And they've added hopefully by the time this goes, a burger taco. There's a challenge of a burger taco challenge. It's like a smash burger on a taco. It's pretty good. You put any kind of meat on a tortilla, put on some salsa, some guac, some lettuce, tomato. You really can't go wrong.
I love eating tacos.
And then the sneakers friend. Ugh. So hard. But the sneakers friend.
I use it on my own shoes.
And you know what? You work hard.
I don't use it on my work shoes.
Oh.
I use it on my dress shoes.
Okay, well then there you go. I love it.
I'll put it on my work shoes just to make you happy. I don't want to waste it on my work shoes. My work shoes are going to get dirty.
Well, I can give you more.
I put it on my nice dress shoes, and it works beautifully.
I dig it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Adios.